Hello everyone. Today, we're going to learn about phrasal verbs and how to use them in our daily and weekly routines. By the end of this lesson, you'll be able to use these verbs confidently in both speaking and writing. Take a look at this script. Practice speaking these words.
Hi, my name is Alex, and I'm going to tell you about my daily routine. I wake up at 6:30 a.m. every day. After I wake up, I get up and brush up on my teeth. Then, I put on my clothes and take off my pajamas. At 7 a.m., I go out for a morning jog. I usually jog for about 30 minutes and then come back home. Once I'm back, I sit down to have breakfast. After breakfast, I stand up and turn off the lights in the kitchen. I then go out to catch the bus to work. I come back home around 6 p.m. In the evening, I sit down to relax and watch some TV. Before going to bed, I brush up on my teeth again and take off my clothes. Finally, I turn off the lights and go to bed. That's my daily routine. How about yours?
Let's take a look at Alex's script. He wakes up every day at 6:30. He gets up out of bed. He brushes his teeth. And then he puts on his clothes. And then he takes off his pajamas. Think about what you do every day. What time do you wake up? Do you brush your teeth? Alex, he didn't say that he takes a shower. When you wake up, do you take a shower? In the morning at 7 a.m., he goes out for a morning jog. Do you exercise in the morning? What kind of exercise do you do? Jogging is running. Do you run? Do you go to the gym every day? Once a week? Twice a week? How often? So when we have our routines, it's something we do all the time. Usually go to the gym. Always go to the gym. He jogs at 7 a.m. and he usually jogs for 30 minutes. When you exercise, how long do you exercise? 1 hour? 2 hours? What kind of exercise do you do? If you don't exercise, why not? Why don't you exercise? After 30 minutes, Alex comes back home. He didn't say that he takes a shower. After you exercise, do you usually take a shower? Or do you usually eat and then take a shower? After you exercise, what do you usually eat? Do you usually cook food or do you usually order food? Some people, they drink protein shake. Do you drink a protein shake? Think about what your routine is. Later, we will try to get you to talk about your routine. After breakfast, after exercise, he goes to catch the bus to go to work. You go to school. Do you exercise before you go to school? Do you exercise after you go to school? Do you go to school by bus? Do you walk to school? These are routine things. He comes back home at 6 p.m. What time do you usually come home after school? Do you stay in the dormitory or do you usually go back home after school? So think about these things in terms of your routine. After he comes home in the evening, he sits down to relax, to watch some TV. Do you relax with TV? How do you relax? Do you usually read a book? Do you play video games? And then he brushes his teeth, and then he takes off his clothes and he goes to bed. Do you wear pajamas? Do you take a shower before you go to bed? These are all routine things. So let's think about these things when we talk about our routine.
Do you see the words in black? These are commonly used by native English speakers and are important for you to understand so that your English can improve. Take a look at this list and let's say them together. 1. Wake up. 2. Get up. 3. Brush up on. 4. Put on. 5. Take off. 6. Go out. 7. Come back. 8. Sit down. 9. Stand up. 10. Turn off. Here are 10 questions based on Alex's daily routine. Look at the script and answer the questions. Write your answers on a piece of paper. Here are the answers. Check your work. Let's say the answers together. 1. Routine. 2. 6:30. 3. Brush up on. 4. Take off. 5. Jog. 6. Come back. 7. Breakfast. 8. Turn off. 9. Bus. 10. Brush up on. Good work. Let's take a look at the meaning of these phrasal verbs.
So the phrasal verbs that we're going to look at today, we have 10 different ones. The first one is wake up. Say wake up. Wake up means stop sleeping. Also, get up. Get up and wake up. You can say either one. Both of them mean the same thing. But sometimes people say I woke up and then I got up. Get up means stand up and leave your bed. So that's a little bit different. If you brush up on something, you're practicing to improve your skills. I like to try to brush up on guitar. I need to brush up on my Korean skills. Put on, you put on a shirt, put on your pants, put on your shoes. We put on. It means we're going to wear something. It's the same thing for all clothes. You can put on a hat. I put on my headphones, put on my glasses. Take off. After the gym, I take off my shirt, I go take a shower. After I finish playing soccer, I take off my soccer shoes and I go take a shower. When the sun goes down, I take off my sunglasses so I can see at night. Go out. You go to another place. You can go out to meet your friends. You can go out of your house. It means to leave. Come back. Come back means to return. What time did you come back from the airport? I came back at 6. What time do you usually come back from school? I usually come back at 5. Come back is return. Sit down. Sit in a chair. Sit in a couch. Sit on a couch. Stand up. Stop sitting. You stand up. And you turn off. Use a switch to turn off the lights, to stop the lights from shining, stop the electricity from going. When I'm finished with my class, I turn off the air conditioner. I turn off the projector. So that is turn off. The opposite is turn on. The opposite of stand up is sit down. The opposite of come back is go out. The opposite of take off is put on. The opposite of wake up, go to sleep. So the opposites are also there when we have our phrasal verbs that we use to talk about routine things that we do.
1. Wake up, stop sleeping. 2. Get up, stand and leave your bed. 3. Brush up on, practice something to improve your skills. 4. Put on, wear clothes. 5. Take off, remove your clothes. 6. Go out, leave your home or another place. 7. Come back, return to your home or another place. 8. Sit down, sit in a chair. 9. Stand up, stop sitting in a chair. 10. Turn off, use a switch to stop the lights from shining. Let's start by thinking about our daily and weekly routines. Take a moment to think about what you usually do on weekends. Here are some examples. 1. I wake up at 6:30 a.m. every day. 2. After I wake up, I get up and start my day. 3. I need to brush up on my English before the test. 4. I put on my clothes after taking a shower. 5. I take off my shoes when I enter the house. 6. I go out for a walk every evening. 7. I come back home around 6 p.m. 8. I sit down to have dinner with my family. 9. I stand up to stretch after sitting for a long time. 10. I turn off the lights before going to bed.
'I wake up at 6:30 a.m. every day.' We can make a question. What time do you wake up every day? Or we can make a yes or no question. Do you wake up at 6:30 every day? Think about what time you wake up. After I wake up, I get up and start my day. Question. What do you do after you wake up? Number 3. I need to brush up on my English before the test. Do you practice English? Do you practice English at home? Do you practice English in the library? How often do you practice English? Do you practice English with books? Do you speak to people in English? Do you practice English with native speakers? How often do you practice English? I put on my clothes after taking a shower. What do you do after you take a shower? I take off my shoes when I enter the house. Do you take off your shoes when you enter the house? I go out for a walk every evening. Do you go out for a walk every evening? Where do you walk to? How often do you go out for a walk? Do you like to walk or do you like to run every evening? I come back home around 6 p.m. What time do you come back home? Do you come back home at 6? Do you come back home after class? What do you do after class? I sit down to have dinner with my family. Do you eat dinner with your family? Do you eat dinner with your friends? Do you cook dinner for your family? Do you cook dinner for your friends? What do you usually eat for dinner? What do you usually cook for dinner? Do you cook dinner or do you order delivery? Delivery is expensive, so be careful. Don't do that too much. I stand up to stretch after sitting a long time. Stretch. Do you sit for a long time in your house? I turn off the lights before going to bed. What time do you go to bed? What do you do before you go to bed? Do you read a book? Do you drink some water? Do you drink tea before you go to bed? Some people like to drink warm milk before they go to bed. What about you? When we talk about our weekly routines, we should always think about questions we can ask people so that we can make a conversation and learn about people and be friendly and be nice. This is why we practice English conversation.
What are phrasal verbs? Phrasal verbs are verbs combined with prepositions or adverbs. For example, wake up, get up, go out, and come back. Number 1 is wake up. The verb is wake. The preposition is up. In English, we use phrasal verbs to talk about an action because they give a good description of an action. These are commonly used by native English speakers and are important for you to understand so that your English can improve. Let's watch the video, An Introduction to Phrasal Verbs, by Easy Teaching that introduces phrasal verbs and gives some examples of how to use them.
Phrasal verbs. They're very common in spoken and informal English. They indicate action. They're made up of two parts, a verb and a preposition or adverb. For example, stand up, sit down. In these phrasal verbs, the adverb or preposition comes directly after the verb. Sometimes the preposition or adverb is placed after the object. For example, put your books away. We can also say, put away your books. The order of the object and preposition or adverb can usually be changed unless we are using a pronoun for our object. For example, let's use the pronoun them in place of the books. We say, put them away. We cannot say, put away them. If using a pronoun as the object of a phrasal verb, it must go between the verb and preposition or adverb. The meaning of some phrasal verbs are more obvious. They're literal. Stand together with up means to stand up. Put with away means to put away. But many phrasal verbs are not literal. They're figurative. The meaning of a phrasal verb can often be something completely different to the base verb. This means that phrasal verbs need to be memorized individually. Take this phrasal verb, make up. The verb make means to build or form something. You could make a pizza. But used in the phrasal verb make up, the meaning is completely different. Make up refers to people forgiving each other. I wanted to make up with my friend after our fight. Here's another phrasal verb, look up. It can be used literally. He looked up in the sky. But the same phrasal verb can be used to mean to search for information in a book or database. He looked up the word in his dictionary. When you come across a phrasal verb you don't know, try looking for clues in the sentence to help you work out what it might mean. You might be surprised how often you can work them out. In the meantime, get practicing. Try starting with our 9 phrasal verbs for beginners video. EasyTeaching.net.
Next, we'll use flashcards with phrasal verbs. Click on the word wall link on the TLS to look at the meanings of the phrasal verbs. There will be a picture. Click on the picture to see the phrasal verb that matches the picture.
Here's how to use the word wall. You will go to the TLS and click on the link, and then the word wall will appear, and then you use the word wall, the flashcards. Here, let's try it together. I'll show you what you can do, how to do it. Okay, so here is the TLS, and here's the link. Click it, and then this will appear on your screen or your phone or your tablet. Then press start. You can make it full screen too. So here's our first one. What is he doing here? That's right. Looks like he's going to sit down. So click on the guy. Very good. You got that right. And you click check. She's in bed. Looks like the sun is up. It's the morning. So, what is she doing? That's right. Wake up. Get up. Same thing here. Good job. Ah, look at that. There's a man and there's a child. And she's waving to the man. She's outside. It looks like the man, he's going inside. So if she's going outside, the man's going inside, she's leaving. So what's our phrasal verb for that one? Let's see. That's right. Go out. Very good. We have these two people. The door's open. They go out. Doesn't look like they're going out. It looks like they just got home. So they went out and now they're home again. So come back. Very good. This guy, his shirt, it looks like, is it put on or take off? It could be either one. Let's see. Looks like he's taking off the shirt. Take off. Good. He's studying. He's learning. When you study, you're practicing and you're learning something that you don't know. So this one, let's say he is brushing up on. Very good. Aha. Off. The switch is off, not on. So what did you do? Turn off. Very good. Put your shoes on. You see, we have shoes on. Then you tie your laces. It's a very nice shirt. So this one, put on. Very good. And this person in the chair, here is sit. So this one, what's the opposite of sit? Stand. Stand up. Very good. And that's it. You're done. Very good job. So we just looked again at the phrasal verbs that we want to use today. Good work.
Use these sentences to help you find the meaning of the phrasal verbs on the list. Click on the link Phrasal Verbs Routine Matching Quiz on the TLS and try to match the verbs to their meanings. Finally, click on the link on the TLS Phrasal Verbs Routine Write About Yourself quiz and write a short paragraph about your daily or weekly routine, using at least 5 phrasal verbs. This will help you practice using them in writing. Try your best to use the phrasal verbs. Try it now. For example, on Saturday I usually wake up at 10 a.m. And now, frequency adverbs. Frequency adverbs describe verbs and go with the verb in the middle of a sentence. Here are some examples of how to use them in a sentence. My brother never speaks to me. She's always late. Do you often go to restaurants? I sometimes eat too much. Or, sometimes I eat too much. A. Don't forget to phone Laura. B. I've already phoned her. I've got 3 sisters. They're all married.
So let's talk about frequency adverbs. The frequency adverbs go together well with the phrasal verbs that we just looked at because I always get up at 6 o'clock a.m. I usually go out on the weekends with my friends. So we can use these together. Let's take a look specifically at some of the frequency adverbs. Okay, here we go. So here we have what we just looked at together, which was these words go with the verb in the middle of a sentence. Always, usually, often, sometimes, never, ever, rarely, also, just, already, still, all, both. These are words that we use to describe a verb. Sometimes eat, often go, always late, never speaks. So he cooks badly describes how he cooks. But here, I often go describes the frequency. So I often go. I sometimes eat. I always phoned. And that's how these are different from other adverbs. Here, always, never, and etc. Always, never, etc. It goes before the verb. Always drink, often goes. I always drink coffee in the morning. Helen often goes to London, not Helen goes often. We don't want to do that. You sometimes look unhappy. They usually have dinner at 7 o'clock. We rarely watch TV. Seldom and rarely mean the same thing. Richard is a good footballer. He also plays tennis and volleyball. I've got 3 sisters. They all live in London. However, always, never, and ones like that go after am, is, are, was, or were. I'm always tired. They are never at home during the day. It's usually very cold here in winter. When I was a child, I was often late for school. Where's Laura? She's still in bed. I've got 2 brothers. They're both doctors. And we can also put them between 2 verbs. I will always remember you. Will, can, and do, have, and has, those are auxiliary verbs. So will always, do often, have never. With the present perfect, I have never gone to France. Here, I can never find my keys. It doesn't often rain here. Do you usually go to work by car? And just like that. So let's do some exercises in your book. The book is on page, sorry, the exercises are on page 199 in your book. So let's take a look at these exercises in your book. Okay, everybody, let's check our answers. Do you ever play tennis? Yes, often. Paul often plays tennis. That's our example. Number two, do you ever get up early? Paul says yes, always. So we can use always. He always gets up early. He gets, she gets, right? We need subject verb agreement. Are you ever late for work? Paul says, no, never. So our sentence, he never gets up late for work. Do you ever get angry? Paul says, sometimes. So he sometimes gets angry. Do you ever go swimming? Rarely. Rarely is almost never. So he rarely goes swimming. Are you at home in the evenings? Paul says yes, usually. So he is usually home in the evenings. And that's exercise 94.1. Exercise 94.2, we have our example, my brother speaks to me. And in parentheses, we have never. So my brother never speaks to me. Number two, Susan is polite. Then we have always. Susan is always polite. Number three, we have usually. I usually finish work at 5 o'clock. Sarah has just started a new job. Sarah has just started a new job. That's recently. I go to bed before midnight. Rarely. I rarely go to bed before midnight. The bus isn't late. The bus usually isn't late. I don't eat fish. And then we have often. So we should put I don't eat fish often. We can also put I don't often eat fish. We can do that either way. Our next one is I will forget what you said, but it says never. So I will never forget what you said. Have you lost your passport? And then ever. So present perfect. Have you ever lost your passport? Number 10. Do you work in the same place? We have still. Do you still work in the same place? Number 11. They stay in the same hotel. Always. So our sentence, they always stay in the same hotel. Number 12. Jane doesn't work on Saturdays. So Jane usually doesn't work on Saturdays. We can also put Jane doesn't usually work on Saturdays. Is Tina here? And our word is already. Is Tina already here? And then we have usually. What do you have for breakfast? And we have usually. What do you usually have for breakfast? And finally, number 15. I can remember his name. And we have never. So I can never remember his name. Okay. Very good job, everybody. Good job.
Use the frequency adverbs and the phrasal verbs we looked at today to make a paragraph about yourself. In our next class, we can look at it together. Thanks and have a nice day.